Well, good morning. Welcome to Monday morning's thought for today. I hope you had a decent weekend and were able to maybe spend some time with family and catch up with yourself. And maybe you're on the opposite side where you're maybe longing to spend time with family and your weekend is maybe quite slow and boring. But either way, I hope and trust that you had time to tune into our morning service if you're a member of Killinchy Presbyterian Church, or indeed whatever church you belong to. If you're watching this, I hope and trust that you were blessed over the weekend. I want to start this week on a quiet, calm note. Mondays, if you remember, used to be the day when everything just took off. It was the day you headed back to work, the day when you had to sort of pick up the pace after the weekend, the day when things changed, and it was always that day when you always maybe dreaded because you thought, oh no, Monday's coming. Sunday was good, Saturday was great, but Monday's coming and I'm not looking forward to Monday. But I want to start with a calmness for you on a Monday morning. And I trust and pray that this thought for today will just bring you that sense of calm as you face this week. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what your plans and purposes are during this week. Maybe you have things coming up that you're not looking forward to. Maybe you're going through a tough time at the moment. But I want to hopefully pray that whatever your circumstance is, that even now you would get that sense of peace at the start of a week. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to take us back to the first verse of our reading yesterday morning in our morning service. It's verse 21 of Mark's Gospel, chapter 5. And we read there, "And when Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered about him, and he was beside the sea." I don't know why Mark decided to add that little bit, "and he was beside the sea." Now, obviously, he's crossed back across to the other side, we assume the area around Caesarea, where he's obviously spent time teaching and preaching down on the lake shore. And he's come across back to this time. This time there's been no storm, no hitch, no problem that's caused any delay, that he simply sailed across. But Mark decides that for some reason he has to tell us that Jesus is beside the sea, or beside, this is the problem we have so often. It's referred to as the Sea of Galilee, but in actual fact it's just a large lake. So he's standing lakeside or on the beach, or whatever way we want to phrase it. But there's this wonderful picture. The crowds have come around him again, and he's really on that spot that he left a number of days earlier. And he's got the crowd around him, and this is an important place for him because a lot of his ministry has actually taken place on this part of the coast, on this seaside area, on this lakeside part of the area of Caesarea. And in fact, Mark in the first 6 chapters mentions the fact that this is where he is 15 times. And one of my favorite chapters in the Bible is John chapter 21. It's the chapter after the resurrection, if you remember, where Jesus is waiting for the disciples on the beach, and he's basically made them breakfast. And as they see him, they get so excited that Peter even just jumps out of the boat and makes his way across just to be with Jesus. And then there's this wonderful reconciliation on the beach as Jesus speaks to Peter and really builds him up and commissions him in a sense for his future work. Jesus seems to do a lot of his ministry on this part of the water, just on the quietness and the stillness. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity of just going down to, even down here at Strangford, just to go down to the water in the quiet morning. I know some of the ladies in our church like to actually get in the water and go for a swim, but I'm not suggesting you do that. But just even to be close to water, there's something about just the sense of being near water that brings a calm and a peace to people. And I don't know why Jesus chose this area. I don't know why it was so important to him. We could probably come up with a whole lot of ideas as to why it might be. But he wanted to be there at the side of the water to do a lot of his ministry, his teaching ministry, his healing ministry, his ministry where he would very often be found. And certainly that was the last place that we find him in John's Gospel. But there's this wonderful hymn that I love. It's a very old hymn. I love a lot of modern hymns, a lot of modern songs. But there's this wonderful hymn that I want to share with you the words of. Couldn't find the hymn book there. Some of you may know it, but I want to trust that whatever sort of Monday morning you're having, that you will allow the peace of just imagining yourself to be beside the lakeside or the seaside, the shore area with Jesus, and just to have nothing but just the quietness of the water and just to be able to hear the Saviour's voice. The hymn I'm thinking of, and maybe some of you know it, is Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, a hymn that was written 150, almost 200 years ago by John Greenleaf Whittier. The words that I want to think of really are verses 3, 4 and 5. Verse 3 says, O Sabbath rest by Galilee, O calm of hills above, when Jesus shared on bended knee the silence of eternity, interpreted by love. With that deep hush subduing all our words and works that drown the tender whisper of your call, as noiseless let your blessing fall, as fell your manna down, as fell your manna down. Drop your still dews of quietness till all our striving cease. Take from our souls the strain and stress, and let our ordered lives confess the beauty of your peace. And so at the start of this week, whatever sort of week you're going to have, I want to encourage you to imagine, if things get too much, just to imagine yourself just down on the water's edge, and Jesus is there, and you're just listening to him talk, and you're sensing just that sense of peace that he brought about. Try and reclaim that peace. It's so easy to let the world rob us of our peace, to let Monday come in and just steamroller all the good that the Lord did in our lives and in our souls over the weekend. And so I pray that today that you may get that lakeside, that shoreside peace with the Lord, whatever your week looks like, that you would turn and rethink that thought of just being there and allow the peace of the Lord that passes understanding to settle upon you. So I pray for a peaceful, quiet week for you, but I also pray that it'll be a week close to the Lord and knowing his presence. So have a good Monday, and hopefully we'll see you, or you'll see me tomorrow. God bless.